This is the new generation of the Honda XRE 190, which has received changes not only in its looks, but also in the engine, dashboard, suspension, and much more. And in this video, you'll find out everything that's changed, technical features, colors, price, when it's available in stores, and of course, my first impressions riding the model. If you're new here, I'm Amanda Pagliari, and this is the most charming motorcycle channel in Brazil, which also brings you the best releases firsthand. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. I will now discuss the changes in the new generation XRE 190, starting with the design. Take a look at how it looks even more like a big bike now. It has a fixed front, right? So you turn the handlebars here, but I love the side fairings here. They give it the look of a bigger bike. The short fender here, right? The upper fender, I found it really interesting. And in this graphic style here, I thought it looked really beautiful. And we have, look, here at the back, a new passenger handle in resin. The passenger foot peg here has changed, right? It's aluminum with some little grips here to give more grip, more stability, right? For whoever sits here in the back. As for the rider's foot peg, we have a rubberized finish. The tank has changed, not just in terms of looks, but also in capacity. It went from 13.5 liters of capacity for gasoline or ethanol in any proportion, since this bike is flex fuel. Besides that, we now have this change in several Honda models, with the adoption of plastic fairings covering the actual tank, which is metal underneath. So it's modular in 3 parts, 2 sides and the center. And with that, besides giving Honda more creativity and options to design however they want, it's much easier than working with metal. You can also bring more savings. Why? If you fall and damage one side of your tank, you don't need to replace the whole tank, just the damaged side, so that's really good. The seat has changed. It's wider and more comfortable according to Honda. It remains a single-piece type, but now the curvature is more pronounced. The outer finish has a texture to give more firmness and grip, which I found interesting. The handlebar is the same as the one on the Bros, which got a slight angle here where you place your hand to provide more firmness and a more upright posture, so it's the same handlebar as the Bros here.
But unlike the Bros, which has bulb turn signals, here the XRE 190 is full LED. Look how nice that is.
So we have the headlight shed between the versions. However, the turn signals and tail light are LED.
There were no changes to the chassis. It remains the same as the previous generation. However, the weight increased by 1 kilogram.
But that's if we consider the dry weight, okay?
But if we consider that the tank lost about 1 kilogram, then we can say it's almost the same weight as the previous version.
Now, a significant change, at least in my opinion, is the fully digital blackout style dashboard. It's super complete and provides a lot of information. So here we have a gear indicator, fuel gauge, tachometer, and speedometer. And here, on the lower right side, we have onboard computer information. At the top, there's the instant kilometers per liter. You can change it here to the average kilometers per liter, and we also have a clock display here. Down below, we have trip A, trip B, and the total odometer. What's nice is that it has a blackout background, and yes, it's the same panel shared with the Bros and also the Tornado. And if you have a Honda XRE 190, a Tornado, Sahara, or any other motorcycle and want to protect your bike's panel, my tip is to use Protlease protective films. I'm sure you have a protective film on your phone. Aren't you going to put one on your motorcycle, which is much more expensive? Look, it's really worth it because Protlease protective films don't use glue. They use an electrostatic system just like the ones for cell phones. They protect against damage caused by scratches, sunlight, wear over time, they don't come off with water, and they even hide existing scratches. If you need to remove the film, it will come off without damaging or leaving residue. There are 2 options for you to choose from, matte or glossy. And the cool thing is that the kit comes complete for you to use at home, and by using my discount code that's on the screen, in the link in the description, or by pointing your phone's camera at the quick response code on the screen, you can get your film for a much lower price. Protlease film is a great way to protect your motorcycle, regardless of the type, brand, or style you own. An added benefit is that it increases your motorcycle's resale value. Having an intact dashboard boosts its worth when you decide to sell. So don't waste time. Information is in the description. Another change here on the XR190 is that now it comes with a USB Type-C port right here near the handlebars, and it has a rubberized cover to protect the port. We had a change in the suspension, which, by the way, both in the front and the rear, is the same set as the Bros. And here the tube got sturdier, going from 31 millimeters to 33. However, the travel remained the same, 180 millimeters. Now here at the rear, we had a change in the shape of the swing arm. It still has a monoshock, just like the previous generation, and 150 millimeters of travel. And just like its on-off sisters, it got a new chain adjustment. The engine is the same as the previous generation, a single cylinder with air cooling and 184.4 cubic centimeters. And the cool thing is that to bring more sophistication, it has the cover here in black. Unfortunately, because of Promote 5, the emissions and noise legislation, Honda had to slightly reduce the power to comply with the regulations, so we have less horsepower.
However, they managed to lower the RPMs, so now you get maximum power earlier than in the previous generation.
And it still has 5 gears. On the wheels, we have a 19-inch rim at the front, 17 at the rear, dual-purpose tires, spoked wheels with inner tubes. There were no changes to the brakes. It's still disc brakes on both wheels, and the ABS anti-lock system only on the front wheel. Just a reminder, I made a very detailed video here on the Motoplay channel with all the changes in detail. I'll leave the link in the description and also in the card for you to watch. Oh, by the way, Honda said that this bike here has a cost of 20 cents per kilometer. Hold on, because at the end of the video, I'm going to call Honda to explain how they came up with that calculation.
But now let's ride the new XRE 190 2025, and at the end of the video, I'll tell you my impressions.
Hop on my back seat.
First impressions riding the XRE 190 here, and well, it's a lively bike. From what I remember, it hasn't lost anything in the engine, maybe because the revs kick in a little earlier, but my impression is that it's pretty much the same thing.
In the end, I'll show you what I did with it. But of course, the more I accelerate, the more I push it here, the more it's going to use up. There's no way around it. If you're unsure between the Bros and the XRE 190 and you have the money for both, I would go with the XRE 190, okay? Especially if I were going to carry a passenger often. Now, if you're going to ride alone, but for off-road, right? If you don't care that much about performance, then you can go with the Bros because the maintenance is a little cheaper than the XR190. And from what I've seen, the Bros fuel consumption is a bit better than the XR190. But that's it. I really like this engine, and it's a bit better than the Bros, better than the Crosser. Oh, 124. Look, 125. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, it's at 125. I think it cut off at 125. Just a reminder that the bike hasn't been broken in yet. It can show more on the dashboard. However, the real speed measured by the Mawa Institute at Honda's request is 112 kilometers per hour, not the dashboard speed, okay? The real one. In this raid, we won't be riding on dirt, since the XRE 190 is designed to be a more urban motorcycle. And I'm even going to ask Honda at the end, who is the target audience, right? Why would someone buy an XRE 190 and not a Bros? Watch until the end to find out. Not only this answer, but also about the cost of 20 cents per kilometer, which according to the second round the XRE 190 can achieve. Regarding ergonomics, I found the handlebars comfortable here, but they were already comfortable in the previous generation. Very good suspensions, right? The Bros suspensions there, they used to bottom out easily. Now they're sturdier. The seat is wider, which is nice, and it has these two levels, right?
It gives the rider a better fit, but on long trips it might get a bit tiring, okay?
It might be a little bit firm. That depends on each person's sensitivity. Vibration, honestly, you don't feel much vibration here as the rider. Of course, if you really push the bike hard, then yes, but at the speed it's going there, around 110 cruising speed, about 62 miles per hour, you're totally fine, right? For example, I'm here in 5th gear. I haven't even reached 8,000 revolutions per minute and it's going smoothly. So it delivers power, but without over-revving the engine. So that's it. But overall, the posture is comfortable if you take ergonomics into consideration. The way your legs fit here is really nice. It's truly a well-designed bike. The XRE 190 is a lot of fun. For low-speed curves like here on the Romeros Road, it does really well. It's agile. Even with these mixed-use tires, I can take the curves safely. So it's a fun bike.
And what did I think about the changes to the new XRE?
In my opinion, it looks really beautiful. Among all the models that Honda released, Sahara, Tornado, Bros, and XRE 190. First of all, I found the XRE 190 really beautiful. This gray model here looks nice, but the blue one, I think I like it even more, huh? I think the blue one is much more beautiful. But overall, it's a really interesting little bike. And now let's see the price. Because one thing is the suggested price on the website, and another thing, as we know, is the price actually charged by the dealerships. They are free to set whatever price they want, so that's how it is in Brazil, unfortunately. But from what I noticed, in the southeast region, São Paulo, the price stays about the same. What really hurts is the price in more remote regions, and I kind of understand there are many cities where Honda is the only option, so people end up setting the price way up there. Unfortunately. Go ahead and comment below which city you live in and how much the new XRE is costing at the dealership in your city. And we've ridden a lot here with the new XR 190. We arrived in Cabreúva, a beautiful golf course here in the sunny weather. I'm here with Luis Gustavo, Honda's public relations representative. Luis, congrats on this launch. It was one of the coolest ones I've liked. The design is amazing, and I wanted you to tell us what the difference is, besides, of course, the engine compared to the Brothers. So why would someone buy the XRE 190 or a Brothers ABS, for example?
Yes, let's go. Well, Amanda, thank you for being here at our first impression of the XRE 190. Yeah, as you said, the change was big. This bike turned out really cool. And if we look at the Honda Trail entry-level lineup, we have the Brothers 160, and a good part, practically 40% of the Brothers audience, are first-time motorcycle customers. So that's why we have features for customers who are just starting to ride motorcycles, an evolution in the Brothers lineup itself, which is the version with ABS on the front wheel. And here on the XRE, what do we have? A motorcycle more geared towards that customer who's interested in a bike with the posture and comfort of a trail motorcycle, but that's used mostly in urban settings.
Similar to car enthusiasts who purchase large SUVs and Jeeps but only drive them on asphalt.
That's it, but it still has all the capability to go on an adventure on the weekend, to a waterfall, a place, a farm, a ranch, so you can enjoy your weekend with the same bike. So it ends up being very versatile. And starting with the design, the difference between the two bikes, if you look, the Bros is mainly aimed at customers who live farther from big cities, more in the countryside of our country, where it has a higher off-road capability for mud, high ground, and the headlight follows the movement of the handlebars. And here on the XRE we have a more adventurous version, more focused on a segment that we see as a trend today, even in the design itself, aimed at crossovers. So you have a fixed headlight, a fixed tower, like we have on the Sahara.
More on, right?
Mido are more on-road, so you have this characteristic thinking about the type of audience. So most of the XR 190 audience is more focused on the southeast region, that customer who is already looking for something different in the segment and so on.
And also those who can afford it, because we know that there's an LED there that's a bit more expensive than a conventional bulb, but that customer would be the one who really wants to have a more premium product, right?
That's right, that customer is already at a higher level, already aiming for other products in the segment.
But of course at an affordable price, right? Since Instituto Mauá measured the consumption at 41 kilometers per liter, correct? So just because it's prettier doesn't mean you're going to spend all that money, right? It's still a low displacement motorcycle, but something interesting that was mentioned in the presentation is the cost of 20 cents per kilometer. How did you get to that number? What kind of magic is that?
Well, it's not magic at all, it's just a calculation of the numbers, right? Like you just mentioned to us now. Based on the study, with an average consumption of 25.48 miles per liter and a 12-liter tank capacity, the vehicle's range is approximately 298.258 miles, including a reserve to reach a gas station. So what happens with that? You're going to have a cost to fill up the tank, to drive that distance of 480 kilometers, 73 rays. That's using the average fuel price across all of Brazil. And in the month of October, because the price varies a lot, and then if we take on average the customer...
That's gasoline, sorry. Gasoline, exactly. Remember that is flex, right? So if you choose ethanol, it can even be a little cheaper, right? Depending.
Exactly, but then you have the trade-off with the range.
With gasoline, you have a range that's about 30% greater. Oh, that's bad.
But then it depends. The region where you live, the cost of ethanol might also be interesting. Then we have the maintenance costs up to 30,000 kilometers. Why up to 30,000 kilometers? Because on average, the XR 190 customer covers 10,000 kilometers per year. With that today, he will have the maintenance cost, labor and parts for the motorcycles, which we suggest to the dealerships of around 1,641 Rs. In 3 years, he will spend on maintenance, correct? Oil change, filter, adjustments, labor, the whole inspection, the cost of tires and brake pads is not included in this price, because that really depends on the type of use. The fuel cost to drive 0 miles must also be added, correct? If we take a range of 480 kilometers, the amount of 73 reais and multiply all that for 30,000 kilometers, we'll have a cost of around 4,500 reais. There are some numbers there, some little details, but then...
Yeah, they're on the screen there because you're following along.
Yeah, that's it. In total, we'll be driving 62 miles at a rate of 20 cents per kilometer. It's super advantageous. You have a stylish motorcycle with a series of features that delivers things like USB-C, ABS on the front wheel, full LED, good performance with a great cost-benefit ratio. It really makes commuting in big cities much easier.
I think it's a very well-made product, but I'd like to know your opinion. Thanks, Luis.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Motoplay team.
Regarding fuel consumption, well, here on the dashboard measurement showed an average consumption of 34.3 kilometers per liter. Considering the bike isn't broken in yet, I accelerated to reach top speed. According to Honda's measurement through the Mauá Institute, it averages 41 kilometers per liter, but can vary slightly. If you have a new XRE 190 or even an older one, write down below the fuel consumption you get with it. The product was excellent, particularly the design. The performance was on par with the previous engine, and I didn't notice any significant loss. I'd need to ride them side by side to determine if it lost anything, but for me, the performance matches the previous XRE. ABS on the rear wheel. Could it have it? It could, right? Of course, the more safety, the better, but at the moment, we don't have any direct competitors that offer this feature to motivate Honda to go after it, right?
There's the NH190, but it's not that advanced technologically to compete with Honda. So I think this setup is okay for the market. It already has ABS in the front, which is a big improvement since its launch. So I think that's a good thing, and it's available in 2 versions. What's the difference between the standard version and the adventure version, which is the one I tested?
Nothing, just colors and graphics. So unlike the Sahara, it doesn't have a windshield, it doesn't have any different protectors, it's just colors, okay? And the standard version is available in 2 colors for $22,000 and some change. And the adventure version is available in a single color for 22,496 Rs. So that's it. If you liked the video, leave a like and share it with your friends. I'm sure this is one of the most complete videos you'll see about the first impressions of the XRE 190. Of course, the bike isn't perfect. It has positive and negative points that I'll talk about soon. I'm going to ask Honda to let me keep the bike for a week, make that super complete video, motoplay style, which I know you all like. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a like so you don't miss that video when it comes out. Up here, I left the video showing all the changes in detail for you. And down here, I left another really cool video. Subscribe if you haven't yet. See you next time. Motorkiss.